Here's my updated post-spring college football top 25. Let's get into it. We'll start at the top where at number 1 I have Penn State. I simply think the Nittany Lions have the least uncertainty of any top-tier contender in their team and program we saw in the semifinals last year. This is their year to take a swing at things. At number 2, I've got the Alabama Crimson Tide. I simply think people underestimate how difficult the circumstances were that DeBoer inherited last season, missing the first portal window and battling through a ton of roster things. And this year, I think they're just going to be a much better team and make a big leap, especially with Ryan Grubb coming back. At number 3, I've got Texas. The Longhorns are a team I trust to reload under Steve Sarkisian. He's shown the ability to do that, even though there's definitely some new faces around Texas this season. At number 4, I've got Notre Dame. I really like this team. I think they reloaded a lot. I don't love that they lost Al Golden, and I don't love that we're still up in the air a little bit at quarterback. So those are a few things holding them back from being just a little bit higher. At 5, I've got LSU. I think they could legitimately have an elite defense this year under Blake Baker with another year for him to get things settled in with all the talent that's there, and their offense is going to be absolutely lethal. At 6, I've got Ohio State. Obviously, they're extremely talented, extremely skilled, but they lost both coordinators. I'm waiting to see what they look like with those new coordinators. I don't necessarily love their new hires. I don't think Matt Patricia was a great hire. At number 7, I've got Georgia. I have no doubt they'll have an elite defense, but I have my doubts about the offense. I think Carson Beck, with all his flaws, was still a huge part of what they did last season. We'll see how it pans out this year. At 8, I've got the Oregon Ducks. There's definitely just some uncertainty, and they're going to be asked to be doing a lot to reload this offense and this team this season. We'll see if they're capable of doing that under Dan Lanning. At number 9, I have Clemson. There's a lot of hype and a lot of buzz around this team and this program because this could be a big year for them. I have no doubt they'll probably win the ACC, but as far as national title contention, I think the jury is still out for me. At number 10, I've got Indiana. The Hoosiers simply have a fantastic base foundation from last year's roster now, and they did an excellent job through the portal, and you've got to trust their portal evaluations after last season. A&M, I've got at 11. They're a very talented team that I think will actually have one of their biggest years in a long time this year under Elko. At 12, I've got Arizona State. The Sun Devils primed to repeat as Big 12 champions this year. At 13 is USC. I trust the defensive overhaul. I think it'll bear fruit. At Michigan, I trust the offensive overhaul. I think it'll be much better this season. At number 15, I've got Oklahoma. The offensive upside is simply too tempting with Mateer and Ott there and a new offensive play caller, and their defense I think will be fantastic no matter what this year. Georgia Tech plays with a chip on their shoulder. I love them in the ACC with a ton of returning production. At 17, I've got the Huskies. I think they're talented enough to make a run and do some real damage under Fish this year. Florida was very injury battered, but they showed a ton of resilience that'll shine through for them this season. At 19, I've got Louisville. I trust their portal additions again. Brom's been a great coach. They've been a very solid mainstay in the ACC recently. At 20, I've got Miami. The Hurricanes are extremely talented once again, but they've got a few more questionable factors this season, and they're a team that always seems to lose in November. So until further notice, I'm keeping them pinned down at 20.